Reassuring things. One. 10.
Civil War.
Alrighty. Whew. Been a hell of a week already.
Yeah,
My God.
It's been quite. Yeah, it's been historic.
Oh yeah.
It's been a real bang up week. I I've been amazed at all the stuff going on. I don't know which of us, which of our two states or regions or areas, however you want to put it, of the country, has had a more interesting week. Yours, I think, has definitely been beneficial. Mine, on the other hand, has been a little bit eye opening. I didn't even actually get a chance yet to tell you about what I found out the other night while I was at work, and I see this thing and I open it up and I start watching the video. I'm like, oh, this, you got to be kidding me. So let's focus on what do we have lined up for tonight, and but before we do that, let's
Well, I
maybe
promise you that we don't have aliens this time. Yes, we'll get to instructions. I wanted to promise you we don't have aliens this time. You got my word, no aliens.
Good. That's good. Awesome.
All right, so yeah, right into the introductions. I just know that wound up being a bit terrifying for you, so I wanted to reassure you this time. For once, it's not the aliens. Everything else but aliens, thank God.
Oh, good. That's the last thing I need.
Maybe that'll happen next week, but I'm the CEO of Chaos Media.
Yeah.
Guy on the camera next to me is the editor-in-chief, and here's our local stiff. Tried to prop him up to keep the damn birds away, and that didn't work. It's our accountant.
Yeah.
If I can get him a suit, I will definitely label him as an accountant.
Yeah. More the merrier. So, what do we got lined up for tonight?
Oh, well, first and foremost, from the lack of a costume for the most part, we've got the Bears.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we've got the Bears. They're still a Chicago team, but the new stadium, Illinois couldn't get it together, so Hammond, Indiana is where they're going to make the new stadium off of the Woods area in Wolf Lake, just right around it. Cool thing is I should probably be able to scope it out so long as they haven't roped everything the hell off and started constructing. I'll just have to go ahead and do some looking around in that and ask, hey, can we go get a look at it and so on and so forth, because it's going to be fairly historic in that regard. And then we've got we've got the anti-Rittenhouse trial, as I comically call it. That Metcalf kid that stabbed the other kid over at the football stadium during the game and everything. His trial's been going on like day fucking 4.
Yeah, Metcalf was the one that got stabbed. The kid who stabbed him, his name is Carmelo Anthony, but it is not the same Carmelo Anthony that used to play for the Denver Nuggets.
Who's the real Baron Zion? Name. Jesus.
Yeah. So, yeah, that all sounds like fun. I didn't bother sharing the link for the story I had in regards to what happened in New York, because it's just really simple. I don't even have to sum it up. I can tell you exactly what it is. So the newest thing now, in the name of inclusivity, Governor Hochul is planning on making it illegal to use the terms father and mother.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Now the mother will be known as the gestating parent, and the father will be known as the non-gestating parent.
Sounds like Demolition Man.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Acknowledge.
I showed it to one of my yeah. I showed this to one of my supervisors at work, who is a staunch Democrat.
Hmm. I'm sure he loved it.
Mm, not really.
I'm
Be
surprised.
surprised.
Aren't they supposed to worship
They're
the
actually
government?
starting to lose some of it. They're starting to lose some of these older. They're starting to lose some of their older Democrat voters. Um, you have to remember, there's a lot of black conservatives who are Democrats only because it's the party that their family has belonged to, for 80 years, maybe more.
Hmm.
Whenever the hell the depression was, that's basically when the Democrat Party, started to absorb all these black folks. So yeah, about 80, 90 years, people have been Democrat who are African American and who are conservative, and yeah, they they are
Hmm.
not liking a lot of this crazy shit. Like, a lot of them, they insulate themselves from it. He didn't want to look at the clip at first because it was Fox News, and I'm like, just look at the fucking clip, bro. Seriously, just humor me. And he started watching it. He's like, if that's true, I said, I don't think they're gonna get out, and just started making up wild shit like that about Hochul. I said, and this sounds like some crazy shit she'd do. So slowly but surely, I mean, if California can go red at this point, I believe New York can too.
Hmm. Maybe. I mean, hell, we'll have to see whatever happens with Mamdani. Maybe he can get enough people to get him to step down, just like what happened in the occupied kingdoms with Keir Starmer. Is he supposed to have stepped
No,
down and they're supposed to be doing all this trialing or whatever that stuff's actually going on, if it is going on?
no, it's not going to be like that. I hate saying this, as somebody who's lived here my entire life, 47 years in this state. Nah, they're gonna do him like they did Benito Mussolini, bro.
Mm.
These are socialists. These are not just socialists. These are like fascist socialists or socialist fascists. So however you need to mix it up to make it to the
Mhm.
point that these are like socialists squared. These are fucking Brooklyn hipsters. This asshole pissed off Brooklyn hipsters, people who wear nothing but hip clothing, even in the fucking winter. So
Clothing.
he
Isn't
he
that stuff supposed to be
basically,
very itchy?
yes, that's probably why they're miserable. Between that and, like the man bun on the head, and then some of them at this point now they got the man bun on the face. They got like they wear their beards braided and shit. So yeah, he pissed off those people. He pissed off people who constantly scream at the top of their lungs all day for open communism. And because New York City is insane, and then Albany is just evil, our capital. Yeah,
Mhm.
I honestly think that they're going to hang Mamdani from a statue in one of the statues that we have over probably by Town Hall. They'll hang him off of it upside down by his fucking boot heels. That's what they're gonna do to him.
Oof, brutal.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see it. If he doesn't deliver and something happens, there's got to be something big infrastructurally that happens. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to predict something like a terrorist attack. I'm not going to nothing like that. I'm thinking it's going to be an honest to God infrastructure related incident. Like, we've
Okay.
had a few already, and this fucking moron can't deliver on them. So I'm thinking something big is going to happen, and it's going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back, and you're going to see these people just go completely apeshit. It might not be this summer, it's probably not going to be until at least next year. He's got to be in at least a year for them to lose their minds.
No, I mean,
what I
all these things
honestly
tend to take time. I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
the one thing that I never thought was really going to catch steam was the new Illinois project. And next thing you know, the mainstream media is talking about parts of Illinois splitting off to become their own state. And there's even a couple small towns that are trying to secede from Illinois to actually join Lake County's area of Indiana. Like there was there was a big town hall meeting about it in Gary, and just all of them were like, no, we're very broke, we're very poor. If these people are going to be a financial drain in any way, shape, or form, we're boned. We can't take them in. And then they're basically trying to politely say, yeah, we also don't like the culture shock of having a bunch of hicks become a part of our county. So there's that thing. It was very humorous, and that was a fun time. Let's see here. But the other news stuff we have is the DOJ is making a couple different moves. There's some ongoing lawsuits and the like in regards to when Don Lemon got himself arrested. One of the things that's going on is basically the paperwork's flying around, and government's wanting to go and ask, okay, you follow Don Lemon and a handful of other people. All right, we want a metric F ton of your information. And there's a big back and forth between the judge. Ooh, what do I got to you now? Oh, boy. Jesus. Well, at least I can get this thing situated here. Oh, I'm waiting on that. I'll eventually upgrade the stands and everything, but for now, that'll do. Okay, looks like he got it back to working. Oh, nope, maybe not. Okay. So, yeah, aside from the DOJ having that going on and court cases basically going back and forth in that regards, the other thing that's going on is our president is royally pissed, unbelievably pissed at the Prime Minister of Israel. He's royally miffed at the motherfucker. So, yeah, speaking of people being hung from monuments upside down like a piñata to be hit with sticks, yeah, there's that going on. So, got a whole bunch of fun stuff in that regard. And if we have the time, just one minor company announcement that we've got to make. And that's pretty much all we got as far as topics in that. So, let's begin then. Which bag of fun do we want to get into first? Hell, I'm wanting to get in on the story of the Bears. I mean, hell, apparently Tim Pool went and lost his mind and made like an entire episode dedicated to being pissed off at Mayor Idi Amin in Chicago and JB Pfister for screwing the pooch on this one. But I seen this coming for a good dang minute as soon as they're like, yeah, we're going to go east. All right, so let me go bring that out while he tries and dicks around with his computer and all that. So, it's official. The new domed stadium that the Chicago Bears have been wanting is not going to be in Illinois. It's not going to be in Arlington Heights. It's not going to be at Soldier Field in Chicago. It's going to be over in Hammond, Indiana. The clock struck 12, and in stereotypical Illinois fashion, the government just could not decide what they were going to do. They had this fancy omnibus bill that they were going to try and push through. And in essence, some of the school districts that were around there, they decided, no, we want the Bears to pay a whole bunch of taxes and what have you. and it became a quagmire that just never ended. It's been going on for several years, but now they're just going to come to Wolf Lake. So here, let me see if I can screen share this. Where is it? Here we go. Boom. It's official because it's in the Chicago Tribune. Oh, I say they'll pursue plans for a stadium in Hammond. Nice. Says Chicago Bears will proceed with plans for a new stadium in Hammond, Indiana. They announced that Friday. Yay. Awesome. And that's the potential out-of-state move. The NFL franchise carefully worded its language to allow for a different outcome because, we don't want the Chicago Bears to leave Chicago. Everyone's leaving Chicago. I'm only there on paper because, I have an LLC. I want to kind of keep it there. And, it's become difficult to live there, but I can still get shot at over there while I'm getting pizza. It's not a big deal. It's just if I get shot at over here getting pizza, I can at least have Kevlar. It's legal. Which, I don't know. That might be the next thing the DOJ goes ahead and steps in and takes care of. Who knows? But anyways, wherever matters. Yesterday, Chicago Bears Board of Directors met and voted to advance our stadium development project in Hammond, Indiana, with the exact site to be selected. The team sent a joint statement from Warren and Chairman George H. McCaskey. We believe in a world-class stadium project in Hammond will transform the region connecting northwest Indiana to the south side of Chicago through the Loop and across neighborhoods and suburbs. Oh, God, please not the suburbs. They are not going to like driving in Indiana. We're going to have so many fucking car accidents. My God. Have enough car accidents in Hegewisch all the time. People don't know how to drive. That in Indiana, they have the thing called roundabouts. They suck a lot. People from the suburbs in Illinois, they have regular four-way intersections. They don't have roundabouts. Yeah, they're going to cause car accidents. It's going to be terrible. Hopefully I'm wrong. Jesus. Stretching to north of the city to bring Chicagoland together and deliver new opportunities to its residents and businesses. The team's decision comes less than a week after the Illinois legislature legislated my pressure with the bad and AFCAF care because they didn't know what the hell they were doing either. And then everyone else looked at each other and went, what the hell did they just say? Yeah, they adjourned without taking up a last-ditch Senate bill that would have allowed Arlington Heights or Chicago to enter into a public-private ownership deal with the NFL franchise because, bad and AFCAF care, Vern Resendahl. So such legislation would have given the team a path to build a new stadium without paying property taxes on the facility because taxation is theft. And you can just pay for Kevlar and everyone will be happy, at least in Indiana. On Friday, Governor J.B. Pfister officially publicly criticized the Bears' behavior in recent negotiations because he's very angry. So you can't blame Mr. Pritzker for everything. The Bears have built a storied legacy in Illinois for over 100 years. Yes, over 100 years. But have spent the last 6 years, and especially last month, shifting their position on a stadium location that has hindered their progress. Pritzker spokesperson Matt Hill said, homing in on the time period at the end of the General Assembly's legislative session, today appears to be another instance that after Illinois leaders have been working with the Bears in good faith. Both Illinois lawmakers who fronted Bears legislature in the House and Senate said they spoke to Warren on Friday and that the Bears chief executive clearly kept the door open to talking with state leaders about stadium issues. So, State Senator Bill Cunningham, a Chicago Democrat who led the Senate in stadium negotiations with the Bears, sent a text to a group that Warren called him to give him a heads up, but that the team was going to release a statement about moving forward with Hammond. But he also looks forward to continuing discussions with me. So I don't know. Well, looks like they're going all the same. They're just probably going to try and talk to them to see, maybe this, maybe that in the future. Who knows? Maybe they'll build a giant skyway so that you can get to it from Chicago. Cunningham argued that the statement the Bears put on Friday was not fundamentally different than the other team released February 19th when the Indiana legislature inched closer in passing its bill to avoid the team potential move to Hammond before the bill was eventually passed. And Democratic State Rep Cam Buckner, Chicago, whose district covers Soldier Field, said Warren also called him earlier and committed to continued discussions around the pursuit of a new stadium in Illinois. Hey, maybe they can save Soldier Field. Maybe they'll do training there. Who knows? I mean, shoot, there's a giant building the Blackhawks train in. Sure, they could do that. Or they can make it the new Lower Wacker Drive and just make it above ground, Have a nice place for the homeless to go. Oh, why did that happen? That's weird. Oh, come on. There we go. Anyways, if ever bears officially specific from conducting due diligence on the site near Wolf Lake and Hammond, since they had identified a particular location they were evaluating. Buckner said today's statement by CanTrust says that project would be in Hammond with the exact site still to be selected. So they're digging around. Yeah, they picked a good area. Wolf Lake's right next to Hegewisch. I'm sure the Burnham Police Department would very much love to pull over every single expletive person they can for municipal fines and tickets and dumb nonsense. Because that's personal experience most people have had with the Burnham Police Department. Hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll go ahead and just make a toll booth, like Monty Python style or something, or Blazing Saddles for any of you who remember Blazing Saddles. Man, this is a long article. There is no way I am not reading the entirety. This is longer than I thought. Holy God. Okay, so I encourage everyone to go ahead and read that full article if they're interested on the Chicago Tribune. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like they are coming to Hammond, and they're still open to negotiations with the Illinois government, but it's likely going to go absolutely effing nowhere, which is why they're moving to Indiana anyways.
It sucks, but it is what it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's what happened here. Everything turned to such shit. All the teams left. We lost the Dodgers and the Giants, I think, in like a 2-3 year span.
Damn.
Yeah. Let me see. The Giants went to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants. And the Dodgers went to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I traded one hellhole for another, but I digress.
Hilarious.
It wasn't like that back then. Like, what it was, you couldn't go to the games. This fucking dog. You couldn't go to the games because you get mugged, you get attacked. They'd vandalize the cars, they'd break into the cars.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, that was the thing back then. I never understood it myself, was the petty vandalism. It continued all the way up until, I guess, the 2000s. And I guess that generation just passed on or something, because you don't see it as much as you used to around here. But that was the big thing when I was younger. You couldn't have anything nice because your car would get keyed. They'd break the antenna off. They'd bust your windows. They'd break your mirrors, your taillights, your
Fucking
headlights.
Hell.
They'd slash the roof if you had like a nice vinyl roof.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So you got people going in and going to the stadium, and they come out and their cars are destroyed. So why would they go? So that was a big reason that the Dodgers left Brooklyn. You had that going on. That was the two things you had to deal with around here. Was aside from getting killed, obviously, was the other things is if you survived every day, you were dealing with either getting your shit stolen or it was getting vandalized. It was always the two.
Lovely.
Oh, yeah. A couple of my vehicles got vandalized. I had graffiti written on them. Tires slashed.
And that's why Citadel left Chicago, is they had so many of their staff that were just walking to and fro, like parking areas, into the building, and they're just getting mugged at gunpoint. And it's like, what the fuck? Because they couldn't bring a firearm into their workplace. So even if they had their FOID card, carry permit, whatever, it's like, okay, it's only going to protect me when I park. I can't take it into work. So they have to disarm if they had anything. And more often than not, it's like, crooks know the laws, so they work around and just go, hey, you're 5 feet from your workplace. Give me your wallet, punk. So, Citadel was just like, we're not doing this. Fuck this. We're moving to Texas.
I don't blame them. And, that's the thing I get annoyed about is I'm arguing with a guy at work because he's telling me he's going on and on about how the only thing he's seen President Trump doing is hook up the billionaires. And I told him, I said, the reason he's hooking up the billionaires is because the Democrats decided that they were going to try to wring them dry. So they're like, fuck you, I'm out, and they leave. And he's like, good, let them leave. We don't want them here. I said, no, we do want them here. They create jobs. They generate revenue. If we have their companies here, there will be, American jobs, and we won't have to pay certain extra things on cars that we would if we were importing them, especially with the tariffs. Now, that's the whole point of it. And
yeah, no, I get you. It's that thing called economics that nobody seems to understand these days.
Right. Well, the reason I was this fucking dog. The reason I was pointing it out was never mind. Just the hell with it. Anyway, fucking dog. What I was
done
saying
yelling at
was
the fireworks yet?
It's not even the fireworks. He's barking at it's a thunderstorm. So when the cars drive down the street, they're really loud because they're splashing all the water. And so he barks at the cars that go past. It's just
this is why I'm a cat person, dude. My cats don't do dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
What they do is they duck and cover whenever fireworks go off.
Yeah. Well, oh no, he's a lot more fun on the 4th. And now he's at the back door, of course. Shit. I was trying to make a point where I brought up the thing with Trump. With
simple economics, it's basically the stereotypical talking points are that you don't want those evil racist billionaires. You want them to leave. But logically speaking, as maniacal and evil as some of them might be, you at least need the jobs that they themselves make. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, it was directly related to what we were going on about. That was the whole point. It's just a damn dog growled at me. It's a fucking dog. You're at the hell with it. It was, again, it was the whole thing with the Bears, with them leaving and the correlation. Oh, that was what it was.
Dodgers and all that?
No, it was basically Democrats don't know what they're doing and destroy things. They drove out the billionaires. They drive out the teams. They drive out anything that would generate revenue. And they try to replace it all with rainbows and good feelings and everyone clasp hands and we're going to sing Kumbaya on the rooftop until the sun sets. That doesn't work. And I really hate having to be, the turd in the proverbial punch bowl here, but, sorry, it doesn't work. We're going to stop trying to do this now. Can we please move on to something that's actually rational and will work? Thank you. And that idiot Brandon Johnson, that fucking fat, square-headed moron, J.B. Pritzker, they basically made it now where there's no one, there's no way that this team is going to stay there unless these guys basically do a 180 on everything that they've been doing for the past few years, which is the only way they're going to get these policies to work.
Oh, crap. Oh, lovely. Kicked out. Must have the dogs chewing on the cords again. Jesus. But I hear him in that regards. That's probably why in the Chicago Tribune they said, look, we're going to still talk to you guys, but we're going to fucking Indiana. A lot less bullshit.
No.
Did the dogs get your cords again?
No, the dogs didn't get my cords again. It's just every time I see a lightning flash in the sky, about maybe 10 seconds later, I get it's just until the electrical static is charged.
Eesh. Yeah, nothing you can really do about that.
No. It's this time of year. Oh, it's going to be even more fun come July, August when we start to get the heat thunder. Where
I'm not looking forward to that.
Especially, and especially with me because it's coming right off the ocean. So,
screw that.
Yeah. That's the reason it's so intense right now. Is just because of where I am. It's just like all of a sudden, like I'll be talking to you and the entire sky goes white, And I'm like, ah, shit. I'm saying to myself, and here it comes. And sure enough, 5 to 10 seconds later, the minute I hear the thunderclap, I get knocked out. So,
Damn.
yeah, it's the electrical discharge. It's because these computers are not exactly, this isn't like, military spec. So,
Yeah, no. Most of those
Oh.
are designed to go into the internet, anyways. They're designed
speaking
to
of
be off.
military spec, speaking of military spec, there's a couple interesting things I was looking into over the week. I want to actually mention today, but I didn't get the chance. This fucking dog.
Yeah, what do you got?
We got apparently this fucking dog. Peanut, shut up! I don't care about the cars. I think this is why I don't keep firearms like handy. There's nothing like within reach. I'd have to get up and go grab something off the shelf and take the time to load it. And the whole time I'm doing that, he comes up to me and he's got his paws on my knee and he's looking to be pet. So it diffuses the whole urge to shoot him. So the something with the military shit. Something important happened. I'm gonna shoot this fucking dog.
What do you mean, the conversation that the president had with Netanyahu, or however you pronounce his name?
No. I'm talking more on like R&D and manufacturing on our end. Something just came down at the beginning of this week.
I got no clue, man.
Well, we had to cancel the Booker. That was going to be our replacement for the Bradley because of. Remember, I told you the thing with Biden where when he took over, they took over everything with the Booker, and they signed everything that they wanted. They didn't negotiate good with them at all. And it turned out the people who were making the Booker, that was the one where anything you needed fixed, you had to take it to them.
Yeah.
You couldn't fix it yourself. So we had canceled that. And apparently now we're going to be possibly land leasing them out. So I think Raytheon is going to do something where they're going to go and actually set something up with whoever we land lease these things to. I don't fucking know, but we're doing something with that.
All right. Well, if you get more information on it, yeah, we can make that a full-fledged topic. I mean, it sounds like it might be something.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to remember because I was watching a few videos. And the problem is before... that's when I started having the problem with the electrical storm. I tried opening up a tab with YouTube and it crashed out on me. So I didn't want to try to risk it again. I'm trying to think what else. There was that. We're adopting those new rifles. I think we're going with 6.5. That's we shot it up to 6.5. Oh God.
Yeah, that's the H&K Spear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old news. We've been using that for a good minute now.
No, I mean completely across the entire military.
Good. That was supposed to be the idea.
Yeah.
Is if the
they're
Spear,
finally doing it.
About fucking time. Good. Because the whole reason that they decided to take the contract with H&K is because if the round and the weapon systems deliver, they can make it universal within the armed forces. So glad that finally succeeded, because that was one thing that definitely needed to be done. Because the one thing that I've just seen so many vets get pissed off about is how relatively ineffective 5.56 was against insurgents. They'd gone about how Haji would go and leap out of a dilapidated building with some rusty Type 2, and he'd get about like 10 rounds off on a couple of their guys, and they'd have to dump like 10 rounds each into the guy to actually drop them, just because of it's right on top of them and they don't have the maximum velocity and all that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, what the hell was it? It was Shut Up, Peanut. I'm drawing a complete fucking blank because I was it's something that came up in my feed the other day and I was watching it. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And just right now, I'm trying my damnedest and I can't think of it. But fuck it, probably not that important.
That's fine. We can move on. But yeah, no, that's good that the weapon systems that they made for H&K, or rather H&K made for us, have worked out. Now they've streamlined everything. That's good. Now we're actually going to have some ammunition that is actually hard hitting and stopping. Because that was like the biggest complaint as far as to why we're using 5.56 NATO for years is, okay, we're going to need longer barrels for this. And yes, we could pump them full of more lead, but we're not fighting a traditional army. We need something with some stopping power so that we don't have to dump a whole bunch of rounds into one guy. They want to shoot the guy more times than they're being shot at and drop him at the same time. They don't want to just, have to continuously get a saw up and just spit rounds down on a guy to keep him behind a bunch of rubble and then try and, do a whole bunch of maneuvers, so on and so forth. So that's good.
Yeah. What the hell else was there? There was a bunch of shit going on with the military I read about. And just, usual shit. They're giving him shit about the military. They're giving Seth shit about the military. Meanwhile, it looks to me like it's better than it's ever been.
Well, people usually complain whenever military spending goes up because they're permanently stuck into this idea that it's the George Bush years. And a lot of people have a lot of shell shock from when we had Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Eagle Claw, and what have you, Gulf War. So they're thinking that, okay, throwing more money into the military budget and us getting entrenched in Iran is going to go ahead and become a boondoggle for like 20, 30 years. Whereas in actuality, from what I know, just looking at the couple different operations he's done where he's gotten Maduro, we're going and choking out Cuba, and now we're cutting off Iran. It's like, okay, those are three major adversaries taken care of. Venezuela took a bunch of our fucking oil that we invested in so that we could actually, not have to completely deal with OPEC. And Cuba's just been an adversary forever just because they've refused to not be communist and actually feed their people, and, million and one different complaints in that direction. And then Iran, they're basically the militant arm of just about every terrorist organization that's been around for a good minute. So they've been a constant thorn in America's side. And now that their economy was in the gutter and their country, one end to the other, had people protesting because they didn't like the government. They were running out of water. It was that bad. So yeah, the perfect time to strike your enemy is if they themselves, barely have a leg to stand on. Right now they've been fighting pretty hard against us, but yeah, it's perfect opportunity, especially since Israel was going in, and more or less as everyone argues about it, they kind of dragged us into it anyways, going, look, you can join up with us and we can curb stomp the shit out of them, or you can sit back and then, hey, they're going to come and return strikes anyways. So yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So now we're damned all the same because it is going on for a good minute. People are thinking it's going to be a boondoggle, and we're trying to reach negotiations, but that would go into the next topic as far as, all the bullshit we have going on with Netanyahu and Israel.
Did you hear about him with Trump?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this is interesting. Again, this isn't me being anti-Semitic. This is just me being honest here. I never liked that we were sitting there carrying Israel's water while they were eating our lunch. That's just something that I didn't like. And I think a large percentile of that was and is their prime ministers, their government. The people of Israel, I don't have a problem with. I never had a problem with the Israelis. I don't have a particular problem with the Palestinians either, if I'm going to be completely frank. I don't have a problem with either side, but I digress. It was never my politics. My politics, the United States, that being specifically the 48 Continental and all the two other states we got, the commonwealths, the outlying territories, whatever, anything that is ours. That's the main focus of my political views. That's where I stop and start and stop. That's it. Specifically, out of that, then you can, if you want to pull in the camera closer, it's New York. Then if you want to pull in closer, it's Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, Suffolk. It's Long Island specifically. That's the main focus of my politics. So, that having been said, I don't like and have not liked for a long time how we have been politically conjoined at the hip with certain people. Israel is one of them. Again, nothing against the people. It's just politics from my point of view. And I think this isn't me trying to dump on Netanyahu, but Netanyahu has been good to Israel for a long time. The problem is he's been there a long time, and lately, the past couple of months, maybe the past year or so, it's been getting to him. You can tell that this guy's been there for a long time because Israeli atrocities is something that's not supposed to be a thing. You're not supposed to hear about it because it's not supposed to happen. And the thing is, I understand, again, he is, it's the lone white castle in the Black Lands. He's surrounded on all sides. He has a lot on his plate. I get that. And this isn't me making excuses for him. This is me just seeing him playing the hand he was dealt, and he got dealt a shit hand.
Gotcha. Logic dictates, as it were, yeah?
Yes, exactly. And he should maybe consider at this point in his life stepping down and retiring, maybe play kingmaker, maybe stay on as an advisor in the cabinet. And I'm not saying he's senile. I'm not saying he's over the hill. I'm not saying he's too old. What I'm saying is he's too worn. He's gotten to the point now where you can see he's making the decisions, and all that's left is the pragmatism. There's almost no emotion left. He's handling this like he should for Israel's sake. But the problem is when you're handling things like this, when you're dealing with a plethora of Muslim countries that want to take you the fuck out, you're going to handle shit a certain way, and he's been. And that's the problem is it doesn't matter that he, again, it's just him. It's just him against all them. You stack up enough war crimes, well, my friend, you're a despot. And unfortunately for Bibi, because of how he's dealing with all these different countries that are going after Israel, he is on paper becoming a fucking despot. He's becoming a war criminal because he's fighting tooth and nail and fighting fire with fire, and he's getting dirty. He's covered in the blood and the muck right now, and it's not a good look, and that's the reason Trump was yelling at him, because Bibi still has his game face on when Trump is trying to defuse this shit. And it's not helpful. And if he isn't going to step down, he needs to at least consider maybe stepping back a little bit. He's got aides there. He's got younger people. He's got his juniors. He's got his deputies. He's got all sorts of shit. He needs to delegate some of that command and maybe, I don't know, take a week or two and go to the Caribbean, get a fucking massage, go into the fucking sea salt hot spring baths down in fucking Miami, do something like that.
Fucking retire, do something, man.
Yeah, well, not even retire, just he needs to take a break. The problem is, I understand how Netanyahu's mind works on this one. Oh, I took a break. I took a vacation. Yeah, Bibi, taking a break and a vacation means leaving your fucking internal borders. Get out of Israel. Go somewhere. Go to fucking Milan. Go to like fucking Fiji. Go somewhere where the water is like an azure blue and every drink has pineapple and coconut in it.
Fucking animals.
Gotta love cats.
Ugh.
But yeah, that I don't mean to go off on a tirade about that, but that's the problem that's going on right now with Israel and with Netanyahu. As the longer the shit's going on, the worse they're looking in the long run.
I know you pretty well hit it on the head. The whole
Thanks.
conversation that our president had with him is basically chewing him out, calling him crazy and stupid, and telling him that if it wasn't for Trump trying to go ahead and play defense for him, he'd be arrested, and he wouldn't. He'd be a war criminal. He'd be sitting there over in fucking Geneva. It's like, all right, we're gonna have a Geneva Convention over Israel and them just doing the shit that they've been doing. Because the Iranians are wanting to keep fighting so long as Israel is bombing the hell out of Lebanon, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop bombing Lebanon.
Yeah, because those are the two that the Iranians, the Lebanese, those are the two basically that have been the biggest problem. Libya for a while too. But I think after Hillary 86 Muammar, I don't think that Libya is going to be a problem anytime soon.
Yeah, no, Libya is not going to be helping anyone anytime at all.
Yeah,
it's going to be a cold day in hell before they can actually pick themselves up. They got beaten so bad, so down. It's unlikely that they're going to be a stable country for a long time.
Yeah, I see that. It's right on the walls that were.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. Peanut, shut up, please. That damn dog.
Let me go bring up that article. Let's see here.
All right, I'm grabbing a refill. I'll be back.
You're right ahead, man. Yes, Axios made an article on it. So let's see here. Oh, you bastards. I did not know that I had to sign up in order to read that. Well, isn't that a pain in the ass? Well, gee, that wasn't there 5 minutes ago. I love how they sneak that crap up on you. Ugh. All right, I'm going to have to find someone up in Axios that actually has an article. But for all intents and purposes, that's pretty much the trouble that's been going on with that. We do have another video in regards to the trouble going on in Iran. So here, let me just pull that up.
Early this morning, U.S. airstrikes hit Iranian radar sites, once again challenging a fragile ceasefire. U.S. Central Command says the strikes came after Iranian attacks on ships traveling through the Strait of Hormuz. And U.S. allies Bahrain and Kuwait. The second time in less than a week, the two American allies have been in Iran's crosshairs. This time, no casualties were reported. But Iranian attacks on Kuwait's main airport this week left 1 dead and more than 60 injured.
Damn.
I'm here in Qatar, which hasn't been struck recently, but the ongoing fighting around the Strait of Hormuz has rattled U.S. allies like this one throughout the region. My colleague, Kristen Welker, sat down with President Trump to discuss the ongoing negotiations with Iran.
They are so desperate to make a deal. Why haven't they made a deal with you yet?
Because it's a very hard thing for them. They've had great independence. They've dealt with very weak and ineffective leadership on behalf of the United States.
Kristen pressed the president on whether the deal he's negotiating would improve upon the one President Barack Obama made in 2015, and that President Trump scrapped 3 years later.
The one thing I want to know is why the hell, for a setting, did they decide to put some John Deere tractors behind them? That strikes me as fucking weird. Why is it?
Well, excuse me. They usually go with whatever the Secret Service is able to secure. They probably just were able to secure a barn easy.
Secured a barn with John Deere equipment?
He may have been speaking to farmers. He may have been doing a tour of something. This guy, you have to realize he's constantly doing shit at all hours, at all times. So he probably just said, yeah, here in the barn, that's good. That strikes me as being 100% him, because he don't give a fuck. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand. He does not give a shit.
All right. Just struck me as odd.
Prove upon the one President Barack Obama made in 2015 and that President Trump scrapped 3 years later.
Why didn't you negotiate a better deal at the time? Because after it was ripped up, there weren't guardrails and they escalated their production of enriched uranium.
Excuse me. It takes years to do these things. These people have been fighting for 47 years. They've been killing Americans. They've been taking off their legs and their arm, and their faces have been hurt so badly and so horribly. I'm moving very fast. I'm into 3 months. You know, Vietnam lasted 19 years. I'm into my 3rd month, and all I do is say, whoa, when are you going to end?
Among the main sticking points in the talks, fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, an Iran-backed Lebanese militia. This week, Hezbollah rejected a full ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon, meaning for now, the attacks continue.
Matt Bradley joins me now from Doha, Qatar. And Matt, indeed, we do have new reports of fighting in southern Lebanon.
That's right. The Lebanese government said 3 of its soldiers were killed in an Israeli attack. And the Israeli military said 2 of its troops were killed in southern Lebanon. All of that within days of the U.S. government declaring a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Jose?
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay...
Oh, all sorts of fun there.
Yeah, a bunch of alliance scumbags on ABC.
Yeah. It's not easy to make peace with dictators. Simple as that. And as far as conflict and war and things of that nature, he does make a good correlation that Vietnam went on for 19 years. And he's only been there for 3 months. So that's something that might take longer than 3 months. But I mean, shit. How many times did we negotiate for peace with the Soviets or the NVA in Vietnam?
Let me see. In Vietnam, oh Lord.
Like what? We have 4 or 5 peace talks with them and shit fell through?
My understanding was, I think something like that, but we got them to the table for the peace talks. I think it was 75 in Paris, and they were supposed to agree, which they did, and we had peace in Vietnam. And then when I'm pretty sure Ford was president after Nixon had to leave in disgrace because the Democrats basically set him up.
Yeah.
The Senate and Congress were supposed to vote to renew the land lease, which was basically we had a 1-for-1, bullet for bullet, rifle for rifle, jeep for jeep, helicopter for helicopter, tank for tank, etc., where anything that the South Vietnamese government was able to provide for their troops, we would match them. So it's a pretty good deal because let's say, okay, we'll give our troops 1,000 tanks. The Americans are also going to give us another 1,000. So it incentivized them to keep their military up to par. So we had where we were supposed to vote to renew this land lease that we had with them. And the Democrats all walked out. They walked out of the Senate. They walked out of Congress. And the deal collapsed. It didn't get renewed. And Saigon fell because of that.
Damn.
Yeah. But they teach everybody that we lost the Vietnam War, which we didn't. We got them to the tables. We hammered out a peace accord and an agreement. They signed it. They agreed. We agreed. And we didn't fulfill our end of the peace agreement because the Democrats all walked out in protest, in solidarity, with their fists in the air. 50-something years ago, before I was even born, and these assholes were still doing the same shit they're doing today. A lot of them are still in office, too, ironically enough.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't. It's not. It's one of the things we have to figure out is how do we properly get rid of all these losers but keep the good ones in. Because the thing of it is, like, I don't like imposing term limits simply because I'm the type, if I vote for somebody and they're doing awesome, I'll vote for them for the next 40 years. If they're doing what I want and they're doing good by me and I have zero, why the fuck are we going to change them? Put in somebody else I might not like at all. To me, that's a violation of my right as an American. I have the right to vote for my representative. If I want to keep voting the same guy and put him in, and he does good, that's my business. It's me and my other fellow constituents. It's our business. Who the fuck we want to vote for? You know?
I think that's why in the few places where there are term limits, they have a referendum system to where if someone's running and they're past their 2 terms, they wind up having to win a referendum and then they're able to run again.
That I'm all for. If they want to put term limits in and they put in a referendum like that so that my guy can actually just come up and say, look, I've been doing good. Everyone's happy. I want to keep doing good. I like what I do. I'm fine with that. If they want to put it in, if they want to put it in as a mechanism, but we have a way to, again, make sure we all get what we want. Because I don't want to lose a good candidate simply because they put in some stupid term limit thing that to me it's not necessary. So I forget who said it, but they said we already have term limits. It's called our vote. If you don't do good by us, we vote you out, which I agree with.
Yeah, that's why there's referendums for various things. That's why typically if people dial the proverbial 1-800 number enough and go, I don't like who's in office for mayor, governor, whomever, then they can actually go and get a emergency ballot going via referendum and go, okay, we want this person out of office. You know, it's fairly difficult to do, but nobody likes to do it because it requires a lot of work. You know, people are just like, oh, well, I'll just stick it through for the 2 or 4 years or whatever, and then vote for someone else. Then they're angry that they didn't try and make a referendum of any kind. But, you know, when they go and look at the international conflicts, they go and, you know, try and make sweet nookie to the Ukraine. And it's like, a reason they're in this is because of a referendum. You know, they're the prime people to look to as far as what happens when you have referendums. Eastern, you know, part of their country decided that they're going to vote to leave after their leader got ousted. And they're like, screw you guys. We're going Yanukovych. We're going to Russia. And then that's how the whole, you know, conflict that's still ongoing today started. Is they decided, you know, we're just not going to be part of the Ukraine. We're going to go be autonomous and join Russia. And then you guys can go pound sand. And then when it came to voting time, the whole island of Crimea literally voted and said, yeah, we're leaving. We're done. Bye. You know, and then it became a fucking fortress for them. It's like, yeah, without all the Balkan violence, you know, people could kind of have the same thing. It's just for the most part, people are just like, yeah, no, I don't want to dial that 1-800 number, man. I want to smoke crack and beat my wife or something. You know,
you just made me remember what when you said the smoking crack thing. That's ironic. So, guess who is leading in like double digits in the polls, and he's blowing out every other possible Democrat candidate for the 2028.
Oh, please tell me it's not Hunter Biden.
It's Hunter Biden.
You fucking serious?
I am dead serious.
Holy shit. Okay, we got to do a special on this.
Yeah, he's blowing them all out of the water. Like, it's amazing. Go on YouTube, go to Asmongold clips and look yesterday. Or the day before yesterday. And yeah, Hunter Biden apparently is leading in all the polls because of his responses to shit. Like, somebody brought up with him about him leaving his bag of cocaine in the White House. And his response, and Shula King is like, I agree with Hunter. That's 100% accurate. That makes sense. Because Hunter goes like this. He's like, that wasn't my coke. Because if it was my coke, I wouldn't have left it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is it the one where he says his brain is going to explode?
I believe so.
All right, sure. Why the hell not? I got no problem promoting this guy. Sure. This is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, you should
All
check
right.
it out and watch it.
All right, here we go. The nerd, the legend, the Roach Man himself.
Having the mother of all crash outs. He's spam replying under his tweets. Wait, what? What is this? Trump hasn't made a public appearance in 8 days. This is after the unscheduled visit to the hospital. My brother in Christ, he's speaking in the Oval Office right now. That's clearly a... Oh. Seriously, Pete, do you not see that this is a clone? Hunter Biden versus Eric Trump in the octagon. Hunter Biden says, I'm in. Why are you not in prison? Because I got a pardon. We know. Everybody knows this. Oh my God. Self-reported. There's a video of you snorting coke off a hooker's ass, Hunter. Let me ask you a question, Mike. If I'm telling you I smoked crack, why in the world would I lie about snorting it? There's plenty of pictures of me smoking crack, doing all kinds of stupid things with all sorts of people, rarely with clothes on, but not snorting cocaine. Guys, I only have one word for this, and you're not going to like it. Presidential. Hunter Biden 2028, let's smoke the competition. He replied, I know this may sound petty, but I can't stand when people put Photoshop meth pipe in my mouth. A crack pipe doesn't have the little bowl at the end. This is why we can't trust AI. Please make the appropriate edit. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Are you seeing the vision yet? I told you guys. Yeah, let the man cook. Wouldn't be the first time. And a fucking picture he has on Polymarket Democratic primary section. What is this picture? Come on, where's Hunter Biden? Damn. There he is. It's probably not going to happen in 2028, but I think it will probably happen the time after that. Then he will have built up at that point to full power. I'm going to do a poll. I know you might not want to vote for any of them, but I'm actually really curious what the responses are going to be. You see that? That 3 retards versus a crackhead? That's right. And I know this might sound crazy. I legitimately think that Hunter Biden probably will have more bipartisan support than any of the Democrat frontrunners right now. Congratulations, Hunter. What? Oh, my God. Wait, Hunter Biden is sober now?
Hey, everybody. Just a quick message to say thank you to everybody who has messaged me today on 7 years.
Sounds just like his father.
Proud of that than anything I've ever done in my life. And I just...
Yeah, he's got a longer head than Joe. He's very elongated. Okay, so the internet favors him as a memetic candidate, so they might actually take him. Now, that's an interesting theory.
So
that is still out there, sick and suffering. There's a way out.
I told y'all he's getting ready to run.
I'm so proud to be a part of this community. I'm just
I want y'all to know, like, it's going to happen. You can't stop this.
grateful for all the love and support everybody has given me. So thank you again.
Presidential election. Are you ready, Patriots? Let's fucking go. I think it's going to happen. Let the country go down in flames for memes. Well, it's going to go it's going to go up in smoke, actually. But it's a little bit different, right? Hunter Biden having the mother of all...
Jesus. Michael Bay.
Oh, it's getting better. It just keeps getting better.
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
better and better. Yeah. So now, do you realize? Think about this. We got. I don't know if it's going to be Vance with Rubio or because everyone seems to really love Rubio. Now, this might be the thing.
Yeah.
JD Vance is a bit of an odd duck. I could see JD Vance willingly being Rubio's VP. I could see JD Vance willingly being the first man to be vice president multiple times in a row. I could see him doing that.
That would be
about his personality.
Depends. I mean, the good thing is Marco Rubio does indeed have the charisma.
So, check this out. Here's the ticket. Ready? Rubio, Vance versus Hunter Biden. Shut up, Peanut. John Fetterman. A crackhead and a stroke victim. That's who they got.
wasn't Fetterman supposed to defect to become a Republican or a Libertarian?
I don't know, but I'm hoping he stays in just so he can be his vice presidential candidate. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see J.D. Vance sit there and argue with Fetterman, because it wouldn't be an argument. They'd be sitting there agreeing on everything. And then you're going to have Rubio arguing with Hunter, which is going to be fantastic. It's going to be amazing. Now, this is the thing I'm concerned about, though. We, thank God, have enough red areas at this point, but I'm really worried about, I mean, let's be real. If they did run if they ran Hunter Biden and they ran John Fetterman, that would get the youth out to vote, just because, again, it's a crackhead and a guy who had a fucking stroke. That's who they're running. And I'm thinking
like something out of Idiocracy.
I'm thinking of college age
all over again.
I'm thinking of college age Scooby. I'm thinking of, Scooby back in the days of his fraternity, with his where I used to dress like a Boogaloo boy before they were even a thing, just because I like mixing Hawaiian shirts and camouflage pants. So with the tie-dye t-shirt underneath, oh God. I used to dress very colorful. I looked like I was in a circus. So I'm thinking of the schmuck I was 25 years ago, and that idiot who he would vote for. And that idiot and all of his idiot friends would go to vote for the crackhead and the stroke victim. That's who they would go to vote for, because of how fucking funny that is.
Oh, it's almost as bad as, I think it was 15 years ago. There was a joke candidate that got started off called D's Nuts. And the fictional person, D's Nuts, actually got almost enough votes for a primary, if I remember correctly. Until eventually, after Basic Discovery, went, okay, well, we have to look into this Mr. D Nuts person that everyone's writing in. And then it turned out, oh, no, that's actually not an actual person. The guy that started the whole thing actually legally changed his name to D's Nuts, then he would have been able to run. But regrettably, no, there was no actual person, so it fell apart quickly. But it was damn hilarious.
Well, I mean, that kind of reminds me of, like, in Britain, you can put down as your religion Jedi or Sith.
Yeah.
Just because enough Brits actually put that down, that became legitimate.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, actually.
That's why Sargon initially, years ago, when he started it as a meme, was trying to make Kekistan an actual thing, to where people ethnically could put down Kekistani, and that would actually count towards the census.
Yeah, I remember when that crazy little bastard was trying to do that.
It was fun. Oh,
it was all fun at first, but it got serious quick.
Oh yeah, I got fucking nuts.
Yeah. Is Kekistan even a thing anymore?
It's not really much of a thing at all. It died not too long after we couldn't continue Backline, because I had different work schedules going on and shit. And we were initially trying to get a video cranked out within the time they started and ended the war between Turkey and Azerbaijan, and it just didn't happen.
I kind of miss it. The whole Kekistan thing.
Shit.
I miss it more for the surveillance. Like, I had Unicorn Riot sitting there, and they were, like, putting out fucking volumes about me. And it's funny because I never had any interactions with these people. And the most interactions I ever had with Antifa was telling them to go fuck themselves, because, for those of you folks watching, Burnside's been there to a lot of these things. I'm a tad large IRL, so the 90-pound weaklings with the limp wrists, they didn't come over towards us. You know,
That was hilarious. And they were like walking down the street, and then they waved down their Uber and everything. Like, fuck you guys, fuck you. And they just look at them, like, oh, and fuck you.
yeah.
And then
yeah.
the Uber comes by, and they just quickly pack their stuff and are yelling from the car. And I'm like, who does this? What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, they honestly thought they were going to go to something that was involving patriots, who are, if they're not veterans and they're not civil servants, they tend to be blue collar and laborers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to a place where if the guys aren't as big as I am, they make up for it by being nothing but corded muscle and 2% body fat. What the fuck did these skinny little college bastards think they were going to do? I mean, let's be real. I mean, you know how many times we would go to the rallies and I'd look at the people who were attending it, and you could tell these fucking people have like killed and cleaned their dinner before. Like they've shot a fucking deer and strung the damn thing up in the tree and right there in the woods. You can tell.
Yeah. That was one thing that I liked about Moore. There were tons and tons of woodsmen in that, and I was like, holy shit, you know, can we get any more coonskin hats around here? Fucking hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I knew we were gonna have like 8 people running on coonskin caps, I would have been like, shit, I would have dug mine out when I was 5.
Yeah.
I went through this real brief phase as a kid where I was like, yeah, Davy Crockett's cool as shit. And my mom got me an actual raccoon, an imitation raccoon skin cap. And I used to wear the fucking thing around like crazy. Couldn't get me to stop wearing it until, what was it? Oh, it was one of those damn Japanese shows that showed up. It was a Steve Racer or some other shit. One of them. I don't know. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Speed Racer?
It might have been Speed Racer or Sonic the Hedgehog or some shit. Then I was like, all right, fuck coon skinned caps. Then I'm going to go into like Liberty Spikes and like trying to like jump onto shit.
I was really big into when I was a kid. I guess it's because of my proximity to the airport where they have all the classic planes. I was into the pilot's caps with the
those are neat
with the goggles.
Yeah.
So again, I live really close to one of these airports, and the old man was in there pouring concrete one day. And now I want to stress to the audience, you know, that are watching this when I say this. My father was able to get a pilot's cap and goggles for me because he was talking to one of the people that was a former World War I ace and was one of the people that piloted the biplanes at the air show in New York City. And now I'm sure that the people who hear me say this, they're like, oh, Scooby, how is that possible? What do you mean? Well, World War I, he'd have to be XYZ age. And my response is, oh, that's because my father got the hat for me in 1985. You know, you have to realize the old man got me the hat 42 years ago, 41 years ago, whatever it was. And, you know, that's why he was able to get it from somebody who had flown in World War I, is because their war had only been over at that point for like 60 years. A lot of them were still above ground. So, yeah.
I mean, the thing that a lot of people forget is there's still a lot of World War II artifacts lying around. I mean, shoot, I've gone to a Civil War expo in Illinois, like way out in the boonies in Illinois. And the funny thing is there was hardly a damn musket there. Most of the things I seen were Imperial samurai katanas and fucking tattered bullet hole ridden Nazi flags that were signed by different regiments. And it's like, this isn't Civil War stuff. And then all the way in back, there's a granny with a cow. And there's a couple guys that got like imitation Confederate clothing in that for reenactors. And I'm like, okay, so I guess it's a Civil War expo sponsored by the veterans that survived the Second World War.
Yeah, well, think about this. The war ended 81 years ago, and there are still veterans kicking around.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because another 19 years, it'll be a century.
Yep.
That just boggles my mind.
Time flies, dude.
Well, I'm just saying that they're still alive. I mean, you think about it. Okay. If these guys enlisted 81 years ago and they were 16, 17, which is, I don't even think you could sneak in at that age at that point in the 40s.
Not in the Second World War, no. In the First World War, that happened a lot.
Okay. So let's say they were 18 then.
Mm-hmm.
which means that these guys have to be 100 fucking years old right now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane. I wonder how many years we got left with these veterans.
A few, I hope.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, if you think about it, you got veterans right now. They were born during the 150th anniversary of this country, and now they're alive to see the 250th.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's going to be some neat stuff. All right.
So what else do we got on the docket?
Well, before we get into one of our last topics, I did want to make a brief company announcement because there were some goals that are close to being met on Twitter. So I have been paying attention to a lot of the subscribers and followers we've been getting on our Twitter page. And we've gotten a lot of people that are fan and commentary accounts related to Elon Musk and Tesla and SpaceX. And I did mention that if we do get 200 followers that are of that fandom, diaspora, whatever you want to call it, yeah, we'll do a stream episode dedicated to you guys and all things Elon Musk. We're going a little over 100 right now, so we've halfway got the goal there. So we're waiting for another 100 more. And in regards to the video editing and that needs to be done for the one of the last hearings that we had for the data center that's going to be over in LaPorte, Indiana, we need to actually go ahead and take our externals over to a tech expert as well as probably this computer, because I got 2 terabytes of shit and I could barely get 5 megabytes onto either of them. They are SATA drives and not solid state drives. The solid state drives are expensive, but even when I was working with a crappy Seagate 8 years ago, I didn't have this kind of trouble where it's crashing my damn computer. So the reason why most of the editing's not done is because I actually need someone that knows what the hell they're doing to go and take a look at these, because I formatted them multiple times in no dice. So I need more space to go ahead and actually move files over so I can start editing and saving and actually exporting footage. So that's pretty much the problem with that. Aside from that, due to that and having to wrench on the vehicle again, it's unlikely that we're going to wind up making it to Sheridan Church for the Getting the Band Back Together from the Reawaken tour. We're still going to try and make it to DC for the 250th anniversary, but regrettably we're unlikely to make it to Tulsa. That really does suck, but it's I got the computer problems, the drive problems, have to deal with the auto repair loans for the vehicle, and then on top of that, recently I had to go take my favorite cat to the damn vet too. Yeah.
It's keep on coming, like they say.
That it came right at the 10th hour, pretty much between the 10th and 11th hour. It's like, well, I could have tried to have set a couple things aside, but that's not going to happen. So yeah, so we're likely going to have to go on a shoestring budget to DC, and then hopefully, if there's still things going on in Ohio in August, then that's going to be thankfully very easy to go to. We go there for a weekend, see what all's going on over there for the 250th, and then boom, we go right on home.
You mean Iowa?
Is it Iowa? I thought it was Ohio.
It's Iowa. You keep calling it Ohio. It's Iowa.
Sorry, Iowa.
All right, just remember this. It's Iowa. Real easy to remember. Slipknot.
Yeah, because they're from Iowa. I actually have a VHS of one of their concerts. I found it yesterday.
And the one album they had with the goat on the cover was called Iowa. So.
Oh, God, that's an old one.
Yeah, well, that's how I remembered it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right,
the minute that I heard Iowa, I'm like, okay, the land of Corey Taylor. Got it.
Yep. Well, hopefully Slipknot will be there, but I doubt it. They've got a whole bunch of shit going on.
You never know. Monkey from Korn is going to be there, I'm guessing.
Oh, man. He's a great bass player.
He's also a pastor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. If you ever get the chance, look up Blind Duet Monkey from, it's either Monkey or Field. No, it's Monkey.
Probably Monkey.
And he does a duet with Governor Mike Huckabee.
Holy shit.
Because Mike Huckabee also plays the bass and also plays heavy metal.
That's awesome, actually. Holy shit.
Yeah, you never knew that?
No, I had no fucking clue. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit, that's cool. Wow. I need to tell my mother. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. You got YouTube there?
That's awesome. Hold on. Let me find this.
Yeah, you could even really quick throw it up and just watch, because it's great, because you see Monkey's sitting there and he's dressed like the rock star. And then there's Governor Huckabee in his governor suit with his freaking bass, and they just start jamming.
All right, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's like a 2-3 minute clip. It's Monkey and his daughter, and they're sitting there, and you see him and the governor talking first, because Mike Huckabee at one point had his own talk show.
That's here. I'm seeing is Monkey giving guitar lessons.
No, Monkey and Governor Huckabee. Trust me, that's how you got to write it in. I personally always liked Mike Huckabee, and then I saw this video. I'm like, okay, now I really like Mike Huckabee.
You're gonna have to find it. I'm not seeing it.
Hold on.
All right. Well, anyways, while you're looking that up, let's see here. There's 2 other topics we got. This one is a tad interesting because essentially what's going on is we already had the court case in that for Don Lemon and a whole bunch of people that bust into that church while they were having their service and that, because they had to, do their protest and what have you, and tell them, all right, well, you have to be anti-ICE, you have to be anti-ICE. And everyone in the church is like, dude, we're doing mass. What the fuck? So now what's going on is court cases are ongoing, and they're trying to get information about the subscribers of Don Lemon and several other people, possibly as an accessory. Deep Humor did a good bit on it, but the one thing that I will say with it is the poor guy does not know the political end of it, so I can understand his grievances in that. And to be fair, good idea, probably a piss poor way to go about it, but more or less, here, I'll go ahead and grab the video, show a little bit of it. Let's see here.
So the government went looking for the names, addresses, and IP addresses of people that are subscribed to certain YouTube channels. No, this is not a joke. This actually, the DOJ wanted your information if you're subscribed to 3 YouTube channels that they apparently found suspicious. And those 3 YouTube channels were owned by Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, and a guy named William Kelly. So these are like political activists of some type.
All of which are in some way, shape, or form Don Lemon directly involved in laying proverbial siege to the church while they were having service because they had to have their anti-ICE protest.
Political commentators. Don Lemon specifically used to work for CNN, and he has a really big platform. And the DOJ, the US government, wanted the personal information of people just because they were subscribed to these channels. Think about that for a second. Don Lemon has 1.31 million subscribers on YouTube. If the judge had said yes to this, the DOJ would have gotten the information of so many people. And what was the crime committed? What? Because you went ahead and subscribed to a certain YouTube channel they didn't like? Think about how insane that is. This other person, Georgia Fort, has almost 10,000 subscribers. Their information would apparently have been given away as well. And this last person over here, William Kelly, or the woke farmer over here, has about 8,000 subscribers. Apparently that information would have been given away as well. This is some scary stuff. stuff and a very scary time to be on the internet right now, because it just seems like online privacy is eroding before our very eyes.
Because long story short, all three of them, yes, they do have a large following. Yes, when you do hit a certain amount of subscribers on YouTube, they do start giving you funding options to where you can make money on YouTube. And depending on what it is you do with that money, you might be in legal trouble. Like in the case of the rest of the protesters that started the rioters and that laid siege to the church. You know, there's criminal trespass there. And there's a lot of people that have actually been arrested for that and convicted. So the one thing the DOJ is likely trying to do is figure out, okay, out of all these people, how many of them are actually in on this whole spiel?
Guys, newly unsealed court documents from the Justice Department's prosecution of people who disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota, show the government reaching for subscriber data that had little to do with the conduct it was investigating. Journalists and commentators Don Lemon and Georgia Fort were charged as part of the disruption, though both alleged they were there as reporters rather than participants. On February 24th, prosecutors filed 5 search warrants. 3 of them asked YouTube to turn over the names, mailing addresses, residential addresses, business addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, and IP addresses for every subscriber to channels run by Lemon, Fort, and activist William Kelly, whose channel goes by DeWoke Farmer. The application, sworn out by Homeland Security Investigations agent Timothy Gerber, went beyond the journalists and activists running the channels. They swept toward the audience, the ordinary people whose only link to the case was having clicked the channel subscribe button. I mean, if this story doesn't go viral, then I don't know what will. I mean, this is absolutely insane. I have heard of the government.
And that more in essence is his basic grievance with it, is the fact that it's so broad reaching that's not like, okay, who can we get here for RICO charges? Who's actually a paid subscriber, like who's actually part of his Subscribe Star system or what have you, that goes ahead and goes, hey, I'm throwing money in here to your fund to go to this church and what have you, Mr. Lemon and Mrs. Fort and Mr. Farmer. But them trying to basically say, okay, anyone subscribed, anyone watching, yeah, we want their information. Fairly broad, but given that this guy doesn't know the legal ends of it, okay, I can understand why he's a bit miffed about it. But that's more or less the whole thing with it. And that's why he's not very certain about, okay, why are they doing it this way? Why are they doing it that way? Like, the main thing that he goes over is, okay, actual things that have happened that have, like, abridged rights. Like the different ID scams that have gone on to where, okay, if you want to access us, hey, you have to verify your ID. No, we don't want your birth date. No, we want you to actually give us documents that we totally aren't going to lose to the black market. And many people have gotten very pissed because, oh, hey, why do I have $5,000 on a credit card in Kentucky when I reside in Kansas? Well, that's very strange. And it turns out that, oh, yeah, you verified your ID to use Hoobaloo to stream, you know, a Skibbity toilet or something or other. And then your ID got leaked to the black market. And then next, oh, yeah, you know, someone just took out a loan in your name and bought a whole bunch of Bugatti stuff or something. But the short and simple end of his is pretty much they want to know who's been not who's watching. It's not a matter of, okay, who's watching, but it's more so, okay, we want to know where the money is, Lebowski. Where's the money? And that's the whole reason the judge is saying no. It goes, okay, this is way too broad of a stroke. This is way too broad of a search. You know, if I go ahead and bring in anybody who is just some regular moron that, comically speaking, spanks the monkey to Don Lemon ranting about stuff and basically eats popcorn and laughs at him, yeah, it's unlikely that they're funding domestic terrorism. So that's more so the whole thing with Deep Humor and that court case. Just to make it a long story short, not to detract from any of the good points he does make, to where, yes, you know, you can't just blanket surrender your data to anybody, because things can get lost, things can get stolen, things can get misused. And if you're not guilty of a crime, yeah, the government could go say, oh, we'll go suck it anyways. Scoob, you got it working now? Okay, it looks like he's... Oh, you found the video. Okay, cool. Thank you. Let me go ahead and play that. All right, so close that up. So apparently this is the video I was looking for earlier, to where Monkey and Huckabee are playing blind. We're probably going to get in trouble for playing the damn music, so I'll have to go ahead and mute the dang music. Hopefully we don't get in trouble with the YouTube's nonsense.
Mastodon, you're watching. Hey, I'm Braun Daler from Mastodon. You're watching Rock and Metal News.
Hey guys, this is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News with a Rock and Metal News update. Korn guitarist Brian Head Welch was on the Huckabee talk show hosted by former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, and they jammed. Yeah, Brian was on Huckabee's show to promote his daughter's Loud Crazy Love film with his daughter, and he and Mike, they were chatting about previously talking about playing some music together, and Mike was grilling Brian about mentioning he would jam with them. So they ended up jamming Korn's Blind with Huckabee on bass and a house band. The film Loud Crazy Love is out on June the 18th, and you can check out the jam and the link in the description of the video. This is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News. Thanks for tuning in.
Wow, that's actually pretty neat. Son of a bitch. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I was telling you, man. I actually seen the performance. It was pretty good.
That's kick-ass.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for finding a news clip of it, because that way we're not going to get in trouble for it.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah, I did my best to keep the thing with Deep Humor short and simple, because the guy does go on quite a bit, but it's mostly because he does not do politics, and he doesn't know, like, the whole thing with Minnesota. He's just like, okay, why the hell are they trying to get all this data from all these people? This sounds like it's something corrupt, when in actuality it probably isn't, due to, you know, all the people that have had rackets going. And in particular, since, church is going on, and if you're not there for mass and you're there to cause trouble, yeah, there's possible criminal charges there. Several people have been charged. You know, you barge in with an angry mob, yeah. But, you know, I'm not going to, you know, sit there for him going on for 15 minutes about, you know, corruption. It's like, no, you just don't know what's going on.
Well,
but
you know,
I will give him credit for, like, things Rhea's smart on.
Yeah, well, one of the things I was going to say is I personally, believe it or not, I myself do not consider myself a person who is into politics. That sounds strange saying it like that, but let me make it a point. I look at myself as Shrek, and I look at Chuck Schumer as Lord Farquaad. Yeah. They're sticking their illegals and every other crazy fucking rainbow-clad warrior that they got, and they're meth champions, and any other crazy person that's on drugs or wants to have sex with a potted plant, or, you know, identifies as a ringtail fucking lemur. They are all being put in my fucking swamp, and I want my swamp back. So that's basically where I'm at politically. Is New York State is my swamp. I want my fucking swamp back, and Schumer can go fuck himself. That's basically how I look at him, and I look at his fucking nut job boss, that nutcracker looking bitch, Hochul. So that's as far as my politics go, and I tell people all the time.
Gotcha.
You know, your politics, you got to keep it to where you can actually fight the battle. Like, fortunately, thank God, our current administration and the federal government that they have, whose leash they're holding, I actually like, as you know, as much as you can. So I don't have a beef with the federal government, so I can actually focus on my state government. It's such a relief instead of having to split my focus.
Gotcha on that, yeah.
Yeah. So was that our last story, or do we got anything else cooking?
Oh, no, we got more legalese stuff. It's just that was the easier one that could be wrapped up in a few minutes. This is the harder one. So basically, like we mentioned earlier, the kid that stabbed the other kid, his
Carmelo
trial-
Anthony stabbed
Metcalf, yeah. Yeah, it's been going on for
Austin
multiple
Metcalf.
days. Yeah. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf, and Austin Metcalf is dead. And now, after an insane amount of trying to get lawyers together, trying to get funds together, trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong, what in the hell happened, and what have you, this trial has been almost as contentious as the trial that Kyle Rittenhouse had, and just about as politically charged. Although the irony is, this is kind of, I'd say, a reversal or an inverse of Kyle Rittenhouse's case, to where in Rittenhouse's case, you know, he's actually doing civil patrol, in that he didn't go over state lines with, you know, a rifle. And, you know, the few times that he did actually shoot people, it was when he was already being attacked, and he went to the police and so on and so forth. Whereas in this case, it's this guy basically just went to the other team's huddle, went under their tent, and everyone's like, "Dude, you're in the other team. What are you here for?" And
Yeah,
because I want to. It's, you know, and basically from there, the accusations get worse, and at the end of it, they're like, "You got to get the fuck out of here. Go back to your team." Like, "I'm not going anywhere, motherfucker." And then winds up getting into a scuffle, and then stabs the guy, and then guy is dead. And it's going on, and yeah, it's not looking very good for Carmelo. And a lot of people, for all intents and purposes, and even the judge, they're not pulling their punches. They're like, "Look, we're not going to make this some type of ethnocentric match of nonsense. Don't go fucking stabbing people." You know?
Yeah.
Primarily what they're trying to focus in on is, you don't like this guy? Okay, why the hell wasn't there fisticuffs? Why did you have to kill this motherfucker? If you don't motherfucking like him, you motherfucker.
Oh, and it's going to be even more interesting. Did you hear the newest thing?
Oh boy, what are we going on, day 6 of this shit? No, please educate me. Oh, come on, don't leave me in suspense here. What is it?
It's what's related to this case. What they decided.
I'm assuming the guy's guilty.
No. All white jury. No black people allowed.
Well, that's odd.
Well, they were not able to find anyone in the area who was black who was not involved with this case. It turned out every juror that they were looking at was out there with a sign at one point.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's going to be
well,
an
that makes a lot
all-white
of
jury.
sense.
Well, you remember how you and I were talking about how they're going to need another George Floyd moment for the summer?
Yeah.
Well, here you go. It's exactly what this is.
Basically, yeah, it looks like they're dragging it out as long as they did that too, so it's possible.
Well, you know what I always say. Stay frosty and keep your powder dry. Shit's gonna get thick quick.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Do we have something on this? Let me go take a look. See here. Okay, yeah, we got something basic. Uzi, what's with this case? Texas teen accused of murder. All right, so in April of last year, dispute at a Texas high school track meet turned deadly, and it's become a fuck story since then. So Mr. 17-year-old, teenager Carmelo Anthony is accused of killing Austin Metcalf, 17 years old. I guess both of them are 17, or we're both relatively young. Anticipated trial of, so one's 19, the other one's 17. So Kitty Stab is 2 years younger than him. All right, so Jesus, this has been going on for a good minute. He's being tried as an adult, could face life in prison if convicted. Anthony allegedly stabbed him, who was competing for a neighborhood high school. Argument over seating arrangements, fatally wounded him. However, Anthony pleaded not guilty to the murder charge, and his defense team members maintains he acted in self-defense. Let's see here. His brief biography of the guy. He seems like he actually has a pretty decent GPA. Good for him. At least he's relatively smart. Let's see here. Worked at Foot Locker 2 years, as well as a supermarket chain. All right, at least he had a decent job. No criminal record prior to this. All right, let's see here. And they trail off a little bit. What happened? High school. Violent confrontation, District 11 High School. I don't even know how to pronounce that stadium, but that stadium of the incomprehensible name in Fresno, Texas, or Frisco, Texas, not Fresno, Frisco. Witness, including Hunter Metcalf, Austin's brother, who is also Anthony, over his presence in the seating area, asked him to leave. We mentioned before, stabbed Metcalf in the heart in the ensuing altercation. He died despite them trying to go ahead and save the poor kid. He's immediately taken into custody and charged with felony first-degree murder. News release, his bond was immediately put at $1 million and later adjusted to $250,000. Pretty high bond. Pretty high bond. Oh, boy. He's allowed to leave jail and placed under house arrest with an ankle monitor. They put on leave with the judge's approval. On June 24th, District Attorney Greg William announced a grand jury had indicted him in first-degree murder. Between trials as adults, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they're repeating themselves. Nerve. Said about most of it comes death. Now, honestly, I'm not too concerned about what the guy says about the death. That's something that's going to have to come out in the wash with when they go to court. Trial begins Monday. It's been going on, and that's the basics of that. And the other thing that people pointed at in particular when they try and mention the cases of discrimination, this comes straight from the man, the legend. I believe this was on Alex Jones. Is the fact that while everyone has been trying to claim that this is a matter of discrimination, white man try and hurt the black man, it seems like it might be the other way around. And everyone's been making a major hullabaloo about it just because they're assuming it's discrimination and not just stupid stuff where it's like what we do in Chicago all the time with the White Sox and the Cubs. Ethnicity doesn't mean shit. Are you wearing black? Are you wearing blue? Are you a north side? Or are you a south side? Are you from the fucking suburbs? That's the usual thing we'll get into altercations like this for, and we'll beat the shit out of each other. Sometimes we'll stab somebody. Sometimes we'll shoot somebody. It gets fucking serious. So other people having similar sports-like rivalries to where, and just to make it Chi-Town, let's say this guy is a Cubs fan and Metcalf's a Sox fan. He goes, fuck this guy and his fucking White Sox, they fucking suck. He goes and sits over at the White Sox area and he's covered in nothing but Cubs shit. And they all look at him funny and go, you're in the wrong fucking tent, dude. And he goes, nah, go fuck yourself. Fucking Sox fan. I'm like, Cubs fan, get the fuck out of here. Go with your fruits over there, over in the fucking red, white, and gay area over the Cubs are. And then next thing you know, the altercation happens. People get into fisticuffs, and then Sox fans stabbed to death. There's shit like that's going to happen. There isn't always, ethnic discrimination. Sometimes it's just fucking sports teams. But
yeah, I know that from first-hand experience. Half the time I would go to watch the Mets-Yankees Subway Series. Very rarely would I go to the Bronx, and I explain to people, it's nothing but love for the Bronx, but why would I go all the way up to the Bronx when I can literally drive to Shea over in fucking Flushing? Like, why? It's a chore to go up into the Bronx to go watch the Subway Series. So I would always make sure I got local tickets. But sometimes you get the doubleheader and you have to go take the train up over into the Bronx. So I would. But I digress. The point I was getting at is we know around here, you go watch the game, half the time you watch in the stands. Because the game could be a perfectly nice, entertaining game, but you got two guys, and one guy's wearing a Yankees shirt, and one guy's, wearing a Mets shirt. And the guy with the Yankee shirt, he's like, go fuck your mother. And the guy with the Mets shirt is like, yeah, how about you go fuck your father, asshole? So
and how about I get you, motherfucker?
Yeah, and that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
And so that having been said, the fact that these two young men were on two different teams, and he went up into their team's area, brought his backpack with him that had the knife in it. That's the thing. It sounds to me like it was a punk move.
Yep.
I am hearing from his camp that this kid is like, you know, he's like the second coming of St. Barnabas or some shit. But then you hear from people who are not directly in his camp but knew him from around the neighborhood. This kid thought he was some sort of OG thug.
That's one thing I've heard from a lot of people is the fact that, yeah, he was decent academically. Yeah, he could hold a bit of a job, but this guy was basically running around on 40-inch rims like, don't be a menace while drinking your juice in the hood.
Yeah. And then from Austin Metcalf's camp, I'm hearing how Metcalf was a good kid. And, you know, you hear a lot of corroborating things from other people, but then you hear from the people in Anthony's side of it that this kid Metcalf apparently had a reputation as being a bully, like being a jock douchebag, doing jock shit.
Oh, yeah, being nothing but a brick.
Yeah, being a prick. And I'm sitting here like, I'm like, okay, he's a good-looking jock.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't, not saying that they're all douches, but they do douchey jock shit. I've known jocks. And very rarely is it like actually intentionally mean-spirited what they're doing. They're just doing dumb shit because they're jocks. Like, I had to explain once to a bunch of feminists from the movie Sorority Boys.
God.
Like in the beginning of the movie Sorority Boys, how the football team is using a water balloon slingshot to launch dildos through the windows of the sorority. And I had to explain to them, there's nothing misogynistic about this. This is a bunch of drunk chuckle fucks in jerseys, just being drunk chuckle fucks. Like, I'm trying to explain to them that there's no nuance to it. They're sending over the sex toys because
it's funny.
In their pot and beer addled brains, it's hilarious. You know, I was in a fraternity. I am fully aware of the crazy shit that they used to do and what was done for a laugh. Like, you know, some of these guys, like in the fraternities, they would do really crazy shit. Like, I knew one of the guys, what he would do is he would sit there and he would go to the shopping carts that were all like in a row, and you know how you have to pull out the last one.
Yeah.
And so he would take his socket wrench and he would tighten up the wheels on the last cart, so you couldn't move it. Yeah, that's typical jock douche behavior. So if they want to sit there and say this Austin Metcalf was doing douchey jock shit like that, my response is going to be, again, he is a young man. He was on the football team. Apparently, he was a very good-looking boy, tall, strapping, athletic. I understand is he was, you know, because it's down in Texas, so I think this kid was involved with the church. I think he was involved with his community. He might have been a Boy Scout. I don't know.
No clue about that.
Yeah. But my point is, it looks to me like both of these kids were just average teenagers. And they both played the role to their own extent. The pretty boy being, you know, the typical jock. And this other kid, even though he was an athlete, he went the other direction, you know, wanting to be the baller thug. So it looks to me like they're trying to influence how this case is going to go based upon, you know, personality. What they're basically looking to do right now is the old guard versus the new guard.
I'm going
and
to bed.
Hold on, I'm on the air.
Are you coming to bed?
Oh, don't worry. We're almost done with this anyways. Oh.
So what this looks like to me is that they're trying to basically put the old guard, which would be the white Christian kid from, you know, suburban Texas, against the new guard, which would be the urban hip kid from, I guess they got condos over there in that part of Texas, because I don't want to sit here and say, you know, call them projects. I don't know if he's from like their area over there, whatever, because I'm not familiar
Okay,
with
so
Texas.
what? Just basically like Rodney from the Boondocks or something?
I'm saying what it looks like to me is, as somebody who's done this for a long time, it looks to me like they're
Oh crap! Did you lose connection again?
trying to build up a side actor. It was the boxing movie called The Great White Hype. You ever see
I
that?
haven't seen it. No, I've never heard of that. I've heard of
All right,
Cinderella.
the whole point of the movie, The Great White Hype. All right, the whole point of the movie, The Great White Hype, is it's a comedy, and Damon Wayans is a boxer, and he's really out of shape, and so they're looking for somebody to go up against him and box him. But the problem is, he's been the champ for years. No one's interested in boxing him. They're like, literally, no one is interested. The purse isn't good enough. It's just because they know that the whole thing is going to be choreographed. It's going to be groomed. It's not something they're interested in. It's going to be a circus and a spectacle. They're not interested in doing that, because eventually they're going to have to take a dive in the eighth because it's the champ, if I'm remembering correctly. So they get this fucking one guy, and I think they said his name in the movie is Tommy Dorsey.
Mm-hmm.
And they keep billing him as Irish Tommy Dorsey. And his response is, I'm not Irish. And they keep like building up this whole thing about this guy being Irish American. And it's all because of how it reads and how it tests and how the public responds. So apparently they love the fact that this guy is apparently of Irish stock, and he's of immigrant stock, and he's supposedly a Catholic. I think the guy's actually a Jew, but they're trying to play it off as he's Irish Catholic.
Lord.
Like it's all hype and all hyperbole, and it's all bullshit. And, it's smoke and mirrors and bullshit and gun smoke. And
Yeah,
that's the whole point of it. He is an actual boxer, but the persona, the beef between him and the other guy, the grievances, all of it. It's all choreographed. It's all staged. It's all scripted. So what I'm saying about this case, these were two teenage kids. They got into an argument. They did dumb shit. There is a very good chance this Metcalf kid might have been a lot bigger than this Caramello kid.
yeah.
And I'm not condoning what Caramello did, and I'm not going to sit here and defend what he did. What I will say is, I could see it where this kid got shook because he's surrounded by these big corn-fed white boys. He doesn't know them from Adam. He might have been sitting there mouthing off like they said he was. It probably was all his fault, and you have to realize that might have been a defense thing because they might all surrounded him. So he's looking around. Now he's probably surrounded by about 800 pounds and over 6 feet of fucking white kids that look really hostile. Figured the Metcalf brothers, there was probably a few more that were in the vicinity. So this kid starts putting up a front. It's a defense mechanism. He might have started playing the role to keep the white boys from beating his ass. And the beating was probably going to come anyway. So this kid probably broke out the knife and probably went to use the thing to basically, back away, back off. And might have went to slash it, might have went to push it, and wound up, instead of using it to scare the kid, did not realize his reach, did not realize his proximity, maybe a combination of both, and stabbed him. He might have went to point the blade at him to tell him to fuck off, to get away, back off, I'll use this thing, and wound up stabbing him. That, to me, sounds a little bit more realistic than this kid just deciding, well, fuck it, I'm going to throw away my entire future. That's how I think this played out.
Yeah, it could be. Oh, waiting to see. They're dragging this thing out unbelievably long.
Well, bro, as somebody who's from Chi-Town and has actually dealt with racially charged confrontations before, Think about it. Think about how many times you've seen things play out this way. And think about the couple of times that it was you and a couple other white guys, and you ran into like one or two black people, and they looked nervous. So they started playing the role. Like, you know, like they were crazy or they were tough or dangerous or you don't want to fuck
I've
with
usually
me.
had to do that myself.
I'll roll over you, that sort of shit.
Oh, God.
That's what I'm saying. So this might be one of those situations that escalated. You know, I'm not sitting here trying to run a defense for Carmelo Anthony here, and I'm not trying to devil's advocate it. I'm just looking at it from, okay, these guys were in Texas. They're football players. They're on rival teams. Apparently the rivalry has some racial undertones, undercurrents, and it was racially charged at the game. Whatever. I'm just guessing on that one. I don't have the information in front of me, but from what I can understand, you know, especially the past few years after, you know, Obama gracefully, ungracefully exited and got Trump. And then we got Obama's suppository for 4 years. Then we got Trump back. So
yeah, the ethnic
what
strife
I'm thinking
has just gotten more radical from there.
Yeah, the past 10 years have been a bit of an emotional roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
And these kids grew up in it, and they're from Texas. Texas, which is violently trying to not go purple.
Yeah.
And I say violently, it's not on the part of the right-wing people. It's these leftists in Austin and Dallas and Houston running through the streets doing crazy shit. And these kids grew up seeing all that. These kids were there, and they were alive and well 6 years ago for the Black Lives Matter Wakandan Olympics in 2020 when they went through the streets, burning shit down, destroying things, fucking flat out murdering people in Texas. I didn't forget that. That guy that with the samurai sword that they stomped into the ground. I will never forget that. They still have not. No one talks about that man no more. He got no justice. And that was all in their home state. So, if you really want my opinion on what happened there, Austin Metcalf was murdered in cold blood. Carmelo Anthony was the weapon that was wielded. And the murderer, in my opinion, is the political climate in Texas. That's who killed that kid.
That's something I didn't consider, but that's very likely. I mean, shit's being how things have balkanized in general. It could be. I mean, shit. As the one comical thing we joke about all the time with, like, you know, the White Sox and the Cubs is, you know, all the rich Democrats are the Cubs fans and all the poor working class folk are the Sox fans. And, well, yeah, normally if you're working class, you're usually a Republican nowadays. So I could be. Yeah, that's something I didn't consider. But being as how they're dragging this thing on, yeah, it's probably sectarian soup.
Yeah, that's just something you got to consider with these fucking people is I'm just personally thinking that this kid got killed because of the climate down there, because of how you don't have the same problem, for example, in Florida. Florida is locked. Florida is apparently the greatest state in the union, and Florida is that you wouldn't have this problem there. The thing is Texas. Texas is the prize. Don't let anyone tell you anything else about the rest of this country. And no one gives a flying fuck about California because the problem is with California, it's all artificial. You turn off the spigot, that state's dead.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fact. It's desert. There should be no one there. There should be no one there. There should be no farms. There should be none of that. But it's all irrigated. It's all man-made. That is... Walt Disney did not have shit on people on fucking Mulholland. Walt Disney did not have shit on Mulholland when it came to designing how to set up irrigation. No, that man was a legend. So California isn't the prize. New York is not the prize. The prize is these people want Texas. They want Texas because they want access to the oil. They want access to the shale. They want access to the mineral rights. They want access to that Gulf. You have the Mississippi right there, because
And hell, just
it
look at
comes
how
down
many companies
between
moved to Texas within the past few years. There's a massive GDP shift into that
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
If they ever decide
well,
that
the
they're going to humor
access
the
to the
independence
Mississippi River.
movement, the most of this country's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to realize that the Gulf, the way the Gulf is set up, is Louisiana has New Orleans, which is the mouth of the Mississippi, which is basically right next to Texas. So Texas, because Texas is the only state in this entire union that has its own power grid. It has its own water, it has its own gas, it has its own oil, has its own electric. It's all self-contained. Its communications hub is all self-contained. Texas is actually the only state in the union with, as far as modern technological amenities are concerned, they can actually turn back into a republic independent of this country. You can't do it in California. California is tethered directly to the entire western block of everything west of the Mississippi. You can't do it with New York. We're also tethered. You can't do it with Florida. Despite what they think in Florida, they just simply don't have the infrastructure. They may have enough to run like emergency, but they can't do it. Like Texas could become its own country.
Yep, they can do it again.
That's the prize. That's what the Democrats want. They want Texas, because if shit does go in the direction it looks like it's going to go in the next 10, 20 years, these Democrats are not going to want to stay in this country anymore. They don't want to go up to Canada. They don't like the cold. But lo and behold, look at this. You got Texas. It's a Gulf state. It's a coastal state. It's on the water. These sick assholes like going on the water. They can literally turn Texas into their own miniature, perverted, hellish paradise. And that's what I think they're going to do.
And
they'll make the deal.
State that has the right to leave the union.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll make the deal with the South Americans, the Mexicans, whoever else they need to make it with, the Central Americans. Yeah, come on in. And they will flood Texas with all those fucking people, these Democrats. And what they'll do is, it would not make sense if they got control of Texas. It would not make sense for them to flood it with illegals and make it a problem. No. They're going to use Texas as the launching off pad for their ally, California. And they're going to send them all into California. They're going to send them all into the interior. And we won't be able to do anything because we won't control Texas anymore. That's what I see them looking to do. Because I really hate saying it, these people are elites. And these are the Ubermesh, and they need their Undermesh. That's what this is. It's exactly what this is, man. These are the people who want to sit around, drink their whiskey sours, smoke their cigars, and pick up the little silver bell on the silver tray and ring it and have their sandwich brought to them. And they want the illegals to be the people in the tuxedos with the tails, with the white gloves, bringing them the sandwich. That's what this is. They wanted the blacks to do it, and when the blacks were freed, they started using the Irish. When the Irish started to get a foothold, they started to bring in the Sicilians. When the Sicilians were no longer working for them, that's when they moved to the Germans. When the Germans no longer were going to do it, that's when they started bringing in the Poles. They always do this. This is just the newest iteration. And mark my words, Texas is their plan. They want their own country, and they're going to do it with Texas if they can't get the rest of it.
Very interesting. That's one hell of a point to end it on.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Fucking dark. That's good. I don't think I could have done it as good. All right. Well, that's wrapping up episode 7. We'll try and do this next Saturday, so long as nothing else crazy happens or Texas secedes.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Good night for now, everybody. And remember, don't get arrested.
Yeah, seriously. Remember, folks, the Constitution and the Bible. Read them, memorize them. Have a good night.
Good night.
32 Robert. Suspect threatening suicide at 3510 on Pine Grove. 3510 Pine Grove. Permit 516 on the 5. Matthews calling saying his ex-girlfriend grabbed a knife and threatened to kill her.
Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want more, go ahead and like, subscribe. In various parts of the video, we've got our QR code. Go ahead and take that thing. It'll save you a lot of trouble.